Have you ever truly noticed the woman who needs no one? Not the one who's bitter about it, not the one performing loneliness at dinner tables so people will feel sorry for her, but the woman who is genuinely, quietly, completely at peace, with no man beside her, no boyfriend in the picture, and absolutely no urgency to change that. And here's the part that breaks people apart. She isn't broken. She isn't waiting. She isn't searching in secret when no one's watching. She has simply decided that a life built around her own wholeness is worth more than a relationship built around her own fear. And that single decision has made her the most quietly threatening woman in any room she walks into. The lie she stopped believing. From the time she was a small girl, the message was constant. Women and girls are taught, by movies, by mothers, by every romantic story ever told, that a woman without a partner is a story without an ending. That she is a question waiting to be answered by a man. That her value is something he confirms when he chooses her. She believed it for a long time. She shaped herself around it. She swallowed her opinions in relationships to keep men comfortable. She stayed in situations that drained her because leaving felt more frightening than disappearing. She performed the version of herself that seemed most lovable, softer here, quieter there, less certain everywhere, and called it love. Until the day she finally asked herself the one question no one had ever encouraged her to ask. What would my life feel like if I stopped building it around someone else's arrival? That question cracked something open that could never be sealed again. Who she actually is. Walk into her home, and the first thing you feel isn't emptiness, it's intention. Every corner of her space breathes at her pace. The silence isn't painful, it's protective. It is the sound of a woman who has finally stopped performing. She isn't cold, she isn't damaged. She is simply someone who has been through enough rooms, the relationships where she showed up fully while he, the man she loved, offered her fractions. To understand that an equation where only one person does all the carrying never balances. She isn't cold, she is recovered. And there is a vast, unmistakable difference between those two things. The threat she carries just by existing. Here is what makes women like her so quietly dangerous. Men who rely on a woman's neediness to feel significant. Men who built their identity around being needed don't know where to stand when she walks into a room. She offers them nothing to rescue, nothing to fix, nothing to complete. And for those men, that emptiness of purpose is genuinely destabilizing. For other women and girls still grinding through exhausting cycles of seeking approval, she functions as an unwanted mirror. Her presence doesn't judge them. It doesn't need to. The simple fact of her freedom throws a sharp light onto the weight of their own chains. She doesn't argue with the world. She doesn't declare herself better. She simply lives, and a woman just living, calmly, completely, on her own terms, is apparently enough to make entire rooms uncomfortable. Because if she doesn't need a partner to feel whole, then what does that say about everyone who does? The work behind the silence. What people never see is that this solitude was not found. It was earned. She did the interior work that most women and men spend entire lifetimes avoiding. She sat with her own pain instead of rushing into the next warm body to escape it. She examined her patterns, the way she used to bend herself into shapes that hurt just to be chosen by someone who hadn't even chosen himself yet. She faced the version of loneliness that lives underneath codependency and made a discovery that permanently changed her. The loneliest she had ever felt was not when she was alone. It was when she was completely invisible inside a relationship. That realization was an ending and a beginning at the same time. What she actually wants from love. People assume she has given up on love. She hasn't. She has given up on the counterfeit version. She is finished with the kind of connection that requires her to edit her voice, suppress her certainty, or make herself smaller so a man can feel larger. She is finished with relationships that look beautiful in photographs and feel like a slow drain in private. She is finished performing need so someone else can feel important. What she wants now is genuinely rare. She wants two people, a woman and a man, or any two whole human beings, who have already done the heavy work on themselves, who are already standing, already grounded, already honest about the darker corners of who they are. She doesn't want two halves completing each other. She wants two full people choosing each other from a place of abundance, not desperation. Until that arrives, she is not suffering in the waiting room. She is living, right now, fully, the standard that looks like arrogance to small people. She has heard every version of the criticism: too picky, too serious, too unavailable, too much. She receives those words and translates them accurately. What the world calls picky, she calls self-aware. What they call unavailable, she calls intentional. She has stopped haggling for basic dignity, honesty, presence, consistency, and real respect, as though they are luxuries a woman must negotiate for. Those are the floor, not the ceiling. And if they are not on the table from the very beginning, she does not pull up a chair. This clarity doesn't make her arrogant. It makes her free. And freedom is the one thing control cannot tolerate. The life she has already built. Her life is not a waiting room. It is already a life. She has built friendships that genuinely nourish her, work that challenges and expands her, a relationship with her own mind that is more honest and more intimate than most romantic partnerships she has ever witnessed up close. She goes to sleep in a space that holds entirely her own energy. She wakes up without the invisible labor of managing someone else's unprocessed emotions before she has even had coffee. That is not a consolation prize. That is a deliberately constructed existence that most people don't have the courage to choose. When love does arrive, and she remains open to it, it will not come to rescue her from her life. It will arrive to join a life already in motion. It will not complete her. It will celebrate her. She is not a half waiting to become whole. She is already whole, and she will only welcome another whole beside her. This is not just a story about a woman you may recognize. It is a mirror. If these words settled somewhere deep and heavy in your chest, it is because a part of you already knows. You have been making yourself smaller for too long, editing your voice, dimming your own light, swallowing truths that deserve to be spoken, all to protect a relationship that never truly made you feel safe inside your own skin. Your soul is not asking you to be alone forever. It is asking you to stop being alone inside your own life. The most powerful decision a woman can make in a world that profits directly from her self-doubt is to look at herself without apology, without performance, and without waiting for anyone's permission, and say, I am enough, not someday, not once someone chooses me. Now stop shrinking, stop waiting, stop performing a smaller version of yourself for an audience that never deserved the full one. The silence you are afraid of is not your enemy. It is the first honest conversation you will ever have with the version of yourself that has been waiting the longest. That woman is the one worth becoming.